In this video, I'll show you how to create a template to set up zones for your content. First, start by clicking the program here on the left, followed by template. Next, select use a template, then click add to create a new one. We're just going to name this, so in this case, and then make sure the resolution matches your orientation of your screen. So in this case, I will use horizontal, and then press OK when you're happy with this. Once you reach the screen, you'll see quite a few functions that surround the template area, from the right to the middle and also to the left. We're going to start on the left side where we can create zones to put in our template. So first off, we'll start with the background. So if I select here, you can see that I can either select a background color to be used, or I can also add media that I've uploaded previously. So I'm just going to select media from here now. I'm going to select here that I've previously already uploaded, and then select this here. Remember, if you also would like to upload from here, you can actually select this here, and then you can go through the setup as before to upload your media. So I'm going to press OK, and then press OK again. And now you can see that the background is now changed to the content that you've uploaded. Now I'm going to start putting different zones in this area. So the first one I'm going to start with is the video zone. So if I just select this here, I can then drag it off down here like so. Now this area is used for either videos or images that you want to loop through. So in this case, we're just going to use it as videos, but you also have the image zone, which can be used just for images only. It's worth noting that you can only have 4 image zones, and you can only have 1 video zone. So I'm just going to move them around like this just to make it look a bit better. Like so. And then the last one here. As you can see, I've had to put these images by hand, and obviously this can look a little bit messy. So the way to make this look nicer is if you actually select the image or whichever zone, for example, and I click on here, we actually can get parameters, so we can change the width, the height, and also the X and Y axes. So we can actually have these positioned exactly where we want. We can also have these all exactly the same size so they match up better. And same for the video if you wanted to make that a bit lower just to match up the new size for these. But that's a great way to sort of get the uh, position that you want of each of your zones. Now we have these zones set up, I'm actually going to go over to here next to where the image area was, and I'm going to actually select the scrolling text. So I'm going to move this down here. I actually want this to go across the bottom. And the reason for the scrolling text area is to either add an RSS feed or just simply have scrolling text go across the bottom of your screen. So in this case, perhaps I want BBC News to display here, and that will obviously update with as the RSS updates through the BBC website. If we click on this, on the right side, you'll see different properties for this. So in this case, we can either change the font, we can change the font color, we can change the font size, background color, we can change the transparency, the speed at which the scrolling text displays, the orientation for where it comes from, so from right to left in this case. We can also change how long we want it to display for, so the duration. From here, I'm now going to go to the logo area. So if we click here, we can actually select a logo, and the idea of this is to have a transparent image of your company's logo, and this will always display over every other zone. So if you see in this case, this logo area actually displays over the video. Even though the video would be playing, this logo would still be over the top. This is obviously better as a PNG because of the transparency format, but now we've set up all these basic zones, we're now going to just gloss over the other ones. So first of all, we have date zone, time zone, and also weather zone. So I'm just going to select the weather zone as example, and I'm going to move it down, and then I'm going to change the color over here to a bit darker, and also make the font a bit bigger so it's easier to see. The weather time and date zones will dynamically change based on your player. So if your player is set to the right date, time, and also set to London, for example, it will display the weather for that and also the time for those areas and the date. Next up is the mask area. So essentially this is just a transparent area. So we're just going to move it over here, for example, and just pull it over the top like so. This is like the logo, except you can only have one logo, but we can have as many of these as we like. And basically the idea of this is we could set up borders to cut off the images here, for example, which make it look a bit more nice and organized. In this case though, I'm going to move it here and just make it a bit thinner, like so. And what I'm going to do later on is add an image, a transparent image to this area, and we'll see how that looks. Next up is the web page area. So this essentially can just be your website or whichever website you want to display here, and that will also dynamically change to the zone size. So the website will fit nicely here. So maybe if you wanted your Facebook feed, for example, you could have that in this area. And then last of all is the static text area, which unlike the scrolling text area is basically just static text that you can change. So you could put prices of food, for example, and you could just change it as they change on a menu, for example. Now we've looked at all these settings on the left, we're actually going to quickly look at the ones at the top. So let's say you want to remove one of these zones, for example. So we could actually left click it and we could delete. We could also lock the zone, so we could actually have it so you can't move it anymore, by accident, for example. And we could also do some of these functions by right-clicking, to just to make it a bit easier. Um, and also there is the snap tool. So in this case, if I enable snap, I can basically just have this zone just snap to an area, so instead of having to try and like micro manage the placement of it. After you're happy with this template, we're just going to simply just press save, and then we're just going to close it after the notification has disappeared. Now I've set up a template area which we can put content into and then publish it to our screens.